Ed, we got a thoughtful letter about the incident in Boulder, Colorado, where the Egyptian national was using Molotov cocktails to attack basically Jewish people. He was hollering "Free Palestine" and throwing Molotov cocktails, burning people, and the police had to come and of course take him into custody. The question was, what should I do as a concealed carrier if I were to witness something like that? The person who wrote the letter, very thoughtful about what might happen if I shoot this guy while he's holding a Molotov cocktail, what happens with that? If he drops it and catches himself on fire, how do you solve that problem? 2, if you pull out your gun, tell him to stop doing what he's doing, and he stops, now he's holding a Molotov cocktail. You're waiting for the police to arrive. You got your gun out. What's going to happen to you and or him when the police arrive? This was just an interesting project on thinking through, I guess, what would just be, for lack of a better term, a completely upside down situation that no concealed carrier, there's no concealed carry class in the country that did the Molotov cocktail incident as part of their training. What are we seeing when we look at this guy? I mean, he's got a Molotov cocktail in his hand. You shoot him, he drops it, or he throws it at you.
We make people mad in lots of ways here. We make people mad when we talk about 22 long rifle for self-defense. We make people mad when we talk about open carry and why we think it's a bad idea. In, almost 13 years of doing this, I've noticed the angriest that I ever make people is when I say, where you are forced to do something is going to have more to do with the outcome than what you are forced to do or what you do it with. If I'm in the Idaho Panhandle and out of nowhere appears some crazy white guy filling jars with gasoline, screaming about Jesus and starting to throw them at people, and somebody puts him down hard, the sheriff and the DA are probably going to be pretty understanding. If this is happening in a place where they are a lot less pro-gun than the Panhandle of Idaho, it's going to be an entirely different story.
Oh yeah, and that goes off even beyond what I was talking about, the prosecution, the prosecutorial discretion of what happens to you.
Depending on how community minded you're feeling that day. If you see a guy and just like nothing else sounds like a physical fight starting in the bar you're in.
Right.
And for parents, if you've never been in a bar when a fight started, or if you've never been near an actual two grown men fighting, just like there's a weird static in the air when your kids are getting into something.
Yeah.
You can hear it. You can hear crazy person starting to do something.
Yeah.
And if you're near him and you hear crazy person starting to do something, almost unconditionally, we would say, well, the answer to that is get away.
Yeah.
You need to not be there.
Take a couple steps back or turn
But if you are feeling particularly community-minded, and if you see that he is about to ignite an incendiary device that a reasonable person in your position would think he's probably going to throw that at people, I would not be looking to take this man at gunpoint because, as you say, what do I yell? Freeze?
Yeah, stop. Stop. I mean,
I'm not on duty anymore. Freeze.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, what if he just looks me in the eye and goes back to whine to throw this thing at me?
Yeah.
So if you want to stop the threat that he, in your mind, in that particular set of circumstances presents, then you're going to have to talk to the cops when they get there and tell them why you did what you did. Otherwise, like with everything else, chickening out can be the better part of valor. Just leave.
Yeah, I got to get away from this.
Police up whoever it is you're capital R responsible for. If you have your spouse or your kids or grandkids, whatever, corral them and get, rather than decide that you're going to have to engage and stop this guy.
Yeah, and for the people who, and there are going to be people, we will get notes and we will get
Don't make me write a letter.
Who are like, you can't just run, you got to do something. This becomes a much bigger question. Okay, you got to do something. All right, maybe you have, and we'll put this into one of the multiple millions of what if scenarios. You got the perfect shot. You put him right behind the ear and you put him down, and that bottle breaks all over in front of you, and now he's burning.
Right.
and people are nearby, and
then
okay,
yell
yeah,
for everybody to get back.
Yeah.
And God help this guy, but he kind of brought this upon himself.
Right.
Had he been sitting at home reading a magazine, whoever shot him wouldn't have snuck up behind him and shot
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He's standing in the park filling containers with gasoline and yelling crazy things.
Or lighting them and getting ready
Right.
to throw them, and they got those out there. The next portion of this guy's question was, okay, I pull out my gun and I tell him to stop, and he stops. And now you're kind of stuck. You are a private citizen.
Mm-hmm.
You are not a law enforcement officer. You're not taking anybody into custody. He is only doing what you tell him because he agrees to do it. You have no legal authority. And I'm not putting my hands on this dude to
Right.
try to handcuff him or restrain him or whatever. I want him down on the ground. And now I want to be out of the blast radius of whatever it is I think he's holding that might burst into flames when he goes down to the ground. And also, too, now suddenly there's a bottle with a burning rag in it, and a guy standing there with his hands up like, what do you want me to do now?
If were you to end up doing that, which I don't expect you would do, but if you yelled, "Hey,"
Yeah.
and he yelled, "What?" and you're just standing there looking at each other for a second, yell at everyone else around you. Take that
Yeah.
opportunity. Everybody get back. Get away from this guy. He's holding a bomb.
Yeah.
Don't try to say Molotov cocktail. Don't just say bomb.
Yeah.
He's holding a bomb.
He's got a
That's
bomb.
a fire bomb. That's
Yep.
a kind of bomb.
Get out of here. Get,
Yep.
you know,
Everybody get back.
Yeah.
He's got a bomb.
and
Point. Like I've seen video of this stuff happen during the riots over the last 5-6 years. Point. Just like you should never use the word gun in line at the airport when you're
Yeah.
flying with a firearm. This is the other side of that coin. Use the word bomb. Everybody knows what bomb is. Not everybody knows what a Molotov cocktail is.
Yep.
Molotov cocktail. That's it's too long. Bomb. He's got a bomb. Point at him. Keep
Yeah.
pointing at him and back up. Everybody get back. He's got a bomb. Is going to be way better than, more stuff about citizens arrests or whatever
Yeah.
some people like to ask about.
And the standard philosophy of what's going to happen when the police get there. Okay, if you've got your gun out and you're holding this guy at gunpoint and you're sort of in this standoff situation and the cops do show up, remember that those rules are largely unchanged. The police are going to give you at least one verbal warning about drop your gun or drop your damn gun. Drop
Right.
it on the ground.
Never carry a gun you're not willing to drop.
Drop
is
it
rule
on the ground.
1.5
Yep.
of gun. Yeah.
Hold your hands up. Follow every instruction that the arriving officers are giving you. Do not try to explain anything. Let them figure it out on their own. If the cops coming up can't figure out that there's a guy holding a bomb and another guy holding a gun, and the guy holding a gun just dropped it and said, he's still got his bomb, then we've got bigger problems than that. Drop your gun on the ground. Do what the police tell you. They're going to put you on the ground, whatever. Hopefully not too close to the guy holding the Molotov cocktail. But yeah, this is something that hadn't popped up. I had not thought of this for quite a long time.
Well, since the 80s. The
Yeah.
last time I saw this was in 80s training materials where, the Iranians are going to come get us, Libya's going to come get us, and it was man with a hand grenade with the pin taken out.
Right.
That's the last training materials that I remember reading that was similar to this, was what do you do when it's a guy with the hand grenade with the pin pulled?
Yeah, and I think it was probably early 90s. I was going through some crowd control training. Actually, it was less lethal crowd control training, and one of the people I was in the less lethal training with was an Israeli major, and he kept shaking his head about this less lethal option, and I said, it looks to me like you don't believe, that using this paintball gun pepper blaster thing that we were using at the time is going to be effective. And he said, that's not what we do. And he showed me a video of a guy with a Ruger 1022 with a scope. And if there was somebody holding a Molotov cocktail or even somebody inciting the riot, they quietly shot this guy in the temple and now he's gone. And now he's no longer involved in the incident. We can't do that in the United States. We don't have that option. We don't get to do things like that and then walk away from it. But if somebody's in a crowd, and now it's something we have to worry about because it just happened. Somebody's in a crowd with Molotov cocktails, throwing them at people, you have to think about what you want to do. And maybe the best thing is just get out of Dodge.